Hello everybody, time to get class started. Today's class is about killboxes and how to use them in your base. First, we need to know what killboxes are. Killboxes are defined as a location where enemies or adversaries are funneled in order to be eliminated with more ease. Next, we will talk about how to use killboxes in your colony. Now, to make sure the raiders go to your killbox, make sure you have turrets around your base and your walls. This is also great in case the raid is drop pods. So first, you want to have a funnel in which to, well, funnel the enemies. The easiest and most classic is the first on our list, the snake. To build one, you simply need to make a single wide pathway that has twists and turns in it. The one our great team has built is simple and meant to show you the basics, although you can make it however you want, even wrap it around your base, but I don't know why you would do that. For your killbox, it's best to start with wooden spike traps. They take 38 work to build and do 8 damage each. This number used to actually be a lot higher, but the devs nerfed it in the previous update because they don't like us building killboxes, I guess. I don't know why. Later on, when you have a good economy, you can change these for steel if you want. The steel doesn't take much work to build and do 20 damage each, but I suspect by then you will be tanking raids with your combat pawns, and steel is a really valuable resource for other things. Then we want to alternate sandbags and traps to slow down and kill enemies or damage them to low health. This works well because pawns cannot stand on top of sandbags and are forced to step on the spaces with your traps. The highest damage spike traps to use are Obsidian with Odyssey or Biofright with Anomaly and plus Steel for Vanilla. These are all, however, very costly. I myself prefer wood, especially early on, because the resource is easily accessible. Although this is not always the best plan, it would be wise to have more than one kill box just in case your snake is too small or another raid happens too soon. Snakes work good for small, lightly armored raids, but once raids get too big, the raiders will spring the traps and some will still walk past unharmed. After flak armor, spike traps have less of an effect, unless they are one of the top 3. After mid-game, you should focus more on other kill boxes and strategies. For our next kill box, we have a simple hallway. One of the easiest ways to stop them in the early to mid-game. The point of this one is to lead your enemies or foes into a long hallway with no protection. Use doors or pillbox to protect your pawns and put sandbags at the entrance where enemies come in so they are forced out into the open. Remember what we talked about before. Pawns cannot stand on sandbags. Very important. The hallway should be about 10 to 15 blocks long, although this can lead to friendly fire or even the enemies to sneak away if they down one of your pawns. Now for the enemies that are alive, well, you can make money selling their organs, or maybe you need to grow your colony. This type of kill box is good for early and mid-game raids, as the raids should be small enough to fit inside the hallway completely. You don't want anyone running away and telling the others about what kill box you have. Looking at you, Joe. This is definitely the all-rounder kill box that you likely see many YouTubers use. In this image, you can see a simple hallway on the side. This is essential to getting around and throwing stun grenades at mechanoids later on, or just Molotov cocktails if you hate everyone. Do keep in mind EMP grenades will be troublesome to any pawns with bionic hearts or brain implants. The third kill box on this list is less of a kill box and more of a multi-purpose base design. This uses what you have already made and boxing the raid in urban combat, but remember, it's your playing field. Make sure you have turrets placed in strategic locations at the edge of your base to soften targets with sandbags around them. Now, when you are being raided, make sure you are using alleyways and side streets. As the great Julius Caesar once said, divide and conquer. So split the pawns and hold choke points. Areas in your city that are made to funnel the enemy. These can be, but are not limited to, your parks, your plazas, your streets, your corners, and even edges of buildings. You can lure a group into a park that has 2 or 3 other pawns behind a sandbag wall. This is the riskiest kill box of them all, and you are meant to overwhelm the overwhelming AI. I just wanted to add it as an honorable mention. This kind of base design can work well as a pre-planned fallback option if your main kill box fails. So crap, we are low on manpower. Looks like we need to do a quick advertisement before we carry on. While we are all here, I wanted to take a moment and thank everyone that helps make videos like this possible. To our honorable YouTube members and patrons, thank you all for your continued support in making these videos. If you haven't joined yet, please consider. It helps us out a lot, but don't feel pressured. Even hitting that subscribe button means a ton to us too. Now back to the video. Well, now that we have our wall rebuilt and our beasts back in cages, we can talk about another way to build your funnel. The writer himself has never used this method, and so please let us know if there is a better way. The fence route is almost just like the snake, except it's 2 blocks wide, not 1. Now a lot of you, just like the writer, might not be saying, Noobert, having a 2-block wide funnel means more pawns can flood into your base, and you were almost right. However, on the second block there is a fence route. The AI is tricked into thinking that it is a wall when there is an open space next to them. However, your pawns will see the danger of the traps and walk on the fence. At least in my 3 test runs they did, and I did not need to micro them. This will allow you to clean and reset these traps with ease. That is what my writer thought I meant, silly boy. What I meant was to build the younger sibling, a killbox we already mentioned earlier in this script, meant to help build the combat prowess of your pawns, a killbox that can grow with your colony. If you build a 2-block wide hallway, one side has a fence and the other side is a mix of traps, have a short hallway filled with sandbags and the entrance where the raids comes in. At the far end of the hallway, have a single wide entrance with a 5x6 room behind it. This room is a house. Your pawns that have ranged weapons. 1 block away from the front wall, build a middle wall. This will give cover to your rear pawn, who should have a long and short range weapon. Chain shotguns work the best in this environment, as we are forcing everyone into short range combat. Keeping your pawns packed together in this way also prevents friendly fire. Have a single melee pawn behind one of the front walls, and only when a raider gets too close do you want to pull your fighter out and engage in melee combat. This would be better mid to late game, as you should have the ability to maintain this better. This one also works great with the next killbox. This one is about building a fake killbox, then splitting your pawns and attacking the raid from the rear, while the raid breaks through your walls. This is great for PvP and AI. If you build a roof over your killbox, the player won't be able to see your pawn's flank. However, this also means that they will see the doors and might break through them, so having multiple fakes should be the plan. Off topic a bit, did you know I have a Rimworld PvP multiplayer server? You can play and test out our killboxes on each other, and then tell us your stories in the Discord. To make something like this, you need to make an inside wall corner. Now, what is an inside wall? Well, an inside wall corner is the recessed inward-facing junction where 2 walls meet at a 90-degree angle, typically termed an inside corner or corner joint. It is the concave shape where the corner moves away from the viewer. Now that we know what an inside corner is, it's time to build the killbox. Start off by building a fake killbox. It can be any of the other types, just make sure it's not an AoE type killbox. This killbox will play as bait and will be meant to take a beating or get broken through. As I always do when the wall is at its near last health, throw a grenade so it blows up right after they break the wall. That also is a good signal for your flanking force to move in. Now we are going to take a step back and work on the real killbox. So this is where the fun happens. The other side of the inside corner should have up to 3 or 5 doors to let multiple pawns out at once. These doors play 2 roles. The first is it's a bypass for your pawns. Now, because this killbox is more about boxing in your enemies and making sure they can't flee, that is all the work you need to do. Make a killbox and a wall with doors. The tricky part about this one is when do you want to flank the raiders? And the answer is do a short-ish pause. A few seconds like you are thinking. When you feel comfortable, just remember that if you attack too soon, you can only pull this off once before the AI plans for it. I suggest sending them out after more than 2/3 of the raiders are inside the killbox. This way, if you do attack some raiders, it will be a smaller amount and you might be able to outgun them after the raid has broken through your walls. Otherwise, the raid will focus on your pawns. Cutting off their escape can help you collect more free workers. Our rice fields don't grow by themselves. This is something I told the writer to add and he loved it. The gas house is not what you think it will be. This is not really about killing raids, but more about letting you build your colony up. See, due to the mechanics of the game, a pawn that is high on smoke leaf gets 30% consciousness and 10% moving, making them a crap shot at aiming in melee. The downside is it gives them minus 20% pain, so they will not feel the pain as much, but due to the low consciousness, they are more likely to fall. If you pair this with the vanilla weapons expanded non-lethal mod, and you could recruit the whole world if you want, making this one requires lots of auto bongs. And if you have the mod gas traps and shells, you can set knockout gas in your killbox as well to add even more knockout power. Not what I meant, but let's get to how to build something like this. You will need a long tunnel with lots of chambers, a room with an auto bong in the middle, have a small tunnel with wooded spike traps, they have the lowest kill chance, and sandbags. Each room should be filled with sandbags. The sandbags will slow down the raiders. With the last killbox, you will want to have a sandbag wall set up with some pawns with clubs to beat any raider who makes it through. This is kind of all around good because it causes the raiders to be worse. This one's a good one. The fire snake is one of the hardest to maintain, but if you can, this is an OP option that removes the dead bodies after 2. It's very good if you're not interested in loot, and it can deal with 10,000 point raids very easily, even at times multiple 10,000 point raids. Making it pretty easy, you just need to make a snake-like corridor with wooden floors or hay floors. Hay floors burn a whole lot faster than wood floors if you have hay, so I would suggest that. You will need to build a hallway to get near the entrance safely with your torchbearer. Next, the fun. Pat anything that will light the room will work. Molotov cocktails or the Hellcat rifle if you have the Anomaly DLC, the flame bow, impids, phoenix armor. Yeah, Tynan gives us a lot of ways to burn the heathens. Allow the enemies to enter the fire snake. Once they have all entered, light the back of the snake on fire and wall both ends. The enemies will feel the heat and notice the scratches on the walls. So this next killbox is less a killbox than just a kill zone and less vanilla. As well, for this killbox we will be using combat extended. Now I know this is supposed to be a vanilla guide, and this still works in vanilla, but it works better with combat extended. So to get started, we will be building some defensive structures on our map's edge, similar to pillboxes, not killboxes. Now you may ask, what is a pillbox? Well, a pillbox is defined as a military guardhouse or bunker that is normally above ground or dug into a fixed position with a 360 degree or nearly 360 degree visibility. Look at all those pew-pews. Building something like this would be like having the outside of your wall covered in turrets and sandbags. This is a late game killbox that is more of an end game type defense system that gets its usefulness by taking advantage of long range, accurate, heavy hitting firepower like your snipers and high fire rate munitions, what you would use to take off in the ship. You guys remember you can do that. We know the game gives you that quest, but I guess it's more of a suggestion these days. This next one is, well, it's the box. Only 99.999. This next one is a simple box with one way in and one way out. To make it, you first need to make a tunnel pathway with sandbags or rock chunks to slow down the enemies. You can have this be as long as you want. The way into the box is just a single block wide. The box itself should be no smaller than 15 by 17, with the other side being a mix of sandbags and walls to protect your pawns. Have turrets lined behind the sandbags and traps scattered in the kill box. Make sure to put a stone wall between each turret to stop a chain of explosions. This is something a lot of people forget about, but even if they are in the kill box, that does not mean you don't need the traps. The traps will help you kill or down the raiders faster. Some people think the bigger the box, the better, but that is not true. The size I suggest is a 15 by 15 covered box having lights on your side and leaving the raiders in the dark. Gives the raiders a disadvantage. Having 3 ways of fire would be the best by having turrets on both sides of the box and sandbags in the front of them. With just these small improvements, your simple kill box can hold off a few more rounds of Randy's chaos. Number 11. This killbox is not really a killbox, but a zone in which you do not want to be in. The killbox requires the Anomaly DLC and its dead life dust mines and mortars. This one is also pretty easy and simple to set up. Although it's more of a mid to late game killbox, this killbox is great for any type of raid coming from outside. The main reason this is a mid to late game killbox is because of what is needed. Bodies, dead bodies. The more, the better. Then have zones scattered across the map full of dead bodies. Some of them have dead life dust mines, while others you could use dead life dust mortars and activate the zombies before the raiders even get there. The dead life dust turns dead bodies into zombie-like creatures that will attack anyone they see. That is the downside of this killbox. During the time that the zombies are alive, any pawn out of the base has a good chance of getting attacked. However, as the zombies kill pawns, they just add to the next wave of dead, and if the bodies rot away, no problem, as the dead dead life gas works on the skeletons too. If the dead body has armor, it just helps the dead. And so the stronger the raid, the better this kill box works. This kill box works for almost all of the raid types. The only one I can think of is a colony drop, where they land in, on, or within your colony or base. The next kill box is more of a trap room, but it follows the rules of a kill box. This is dubbed the Falling Mountain. The point of this kill box is to make sure your vault or mountain base stays safe while having a small number of pawns. To make the kill box, you need to build a room at least 18 tiles wide by 18 tiles deep with a wooden column in the middle. The maximum distance a roof tile can be from a support is 6 tiles. By taking advantage of this, we can ensure the mountain roof will fall onto the raiders by placing them 12 tiles apart. When a column breaks, the roof will collapse on the raiders because it has no more support. After you have the kill box room made, make the floor of hay. If you want, you can build wooden cover for the enemies to stand behind and stop moving. With the columns and floor made, you have the kill box set up. Now, to funnel everyone, you can have the kill box have wooden doors. The AI goes for the weakest point of entry, unless it's sappers or a split raid. If a raid is split, some can be sappers and some will go for the weakest point. Now that our kill box is set up, we wait for a raid. And wait we must. I don't think building a base underground was a smart idea. The next one requires the Odyssey DLC. It's called the Ship Drop. Like the name states, you build a ship with a huge hole in the middle, big enough to house a small or medium colony. After asking Discord and Reddit, I found this size is about 100 by 100. To do this, you need to use the biggest map in the advanced settings before you load the world. This option is a late game goal unless you speedrun. This one is one of my favorites because it has 2 kill boxes in one. Now, because you drop a ship onto the colony, you cannot land on mountains or super hilly locations. If you build hallways leading into the hole while you are building or after you get finished, you can file the raiders through your ship, and after they all get onto the ship, take off into space and watch them get so high they can't breathe. The bones of this is that you can just take the bodies off your ship in space and boom, no clutter and no blood. This kill box is an interesting kill box that I don't think any of you have seen before.
How about we just walk out?
The door is locked.
This is an add-on to the all too well-known snake kill box with a small caveat. There's a door right here in the middle of the side attached to my prison. You see, in Rimworld, there's a well-known mechanic that prisoners will fight raiders if they encounter them. So the purpose of this kill box is to give your useless sacks of meat a chance at freedom. By opening the door to this room full of prisoners, they will flow out into the kill box and do a naughty on your enemies. If they survive, I'd say they earn their freedom. If not, well, at least they soften them up for you. Bonus, if you have some Neanderthals or Impids in there that can really wreak some havoc on your enemies, I think this is an interesting design for a kill box that takes advantage of the fact that late game, we just have way too many prisoners, and this is an interesting, albeit Geneva checklist way of clearing them out. The last one is the best one. This is a mid to late game strategy that is even better if you have animal mods. So this kill box is an animal zone inside a boxed area, not much to it, and if you have wolves, bears, and dragons, oh my, or anything else that will eat corpses, you have no need to haul away the bodies. Although it's times like these little raids, it's maybe a smart to have corpses or feeding stockpiles inside the zone. This kill box is made by building a boxed area. I suggest it be kind of small, make a zone on the inside of the kill box, then you send all your attack animals to that zone. When the raiders enter the area, the animals will attack. This is best for tribal and small raids, as anything else will start to down or kill your animals. The bigger the animals, the larger the raid it can handle. If you have the mod Animal Gear, this is a better option for a kill box. Well, that is all we have for now. Don't forget to follow the foxes and have a wonderful